Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Watson, I understand that you represent and counsel employers on occupational safety and health law issues. Regarding the heat rule that we've been discussing, climates are different across the country, and what may be considered extreme in one area is not in another. Does this rule allow for those kind of variances from region to region?
There are no specific regional differences that are carved out in the proposed standard, and for clarification, this still has not been published in the Federal Register, so we're presuming that what is on OSHA's website is what we're reviewing. The concern here is that they do recognize how to deal with heat if there's humidity factors and other things, but there are no specific regional differences. One example I can give you where OSHA looks at it is they've left it up to the employer to decide when the heat season would kick in so that they would have to educate their workers on what the heat protections would be for that season. So there is some flexibility there, but there isn't that true recognition of what's good in Santa Fe, New Mexico is not going to necessarily be good in Virginia, in Northern Virginia or Southern Virginia. There aren't those kind of recognitions, and that's problematic for employers.
Yeah. Then the other rule that has been discussed is the walk around rule that was published in April, which I think is just remarkable that we now have a situation where the OSHA compliance and safety officer can be escorted or by a union organizer, community activist, or some third party to accompany them in the inspection of another workplace. Is this done in any other aspect, or is this, because this is an entirely new concept to me?
There is a provision in the OSHA Act that does allow a compliance safety and health officer, a COSHO, to allow a third-party person who meets certain criteria. But this regulation really expands that. And I think the troubling thing is that it's just the scope and breadth of who might be able to come on the job site. And then the issue for employers certainly is, well, what if there's already a union in place, but another union representative wants to come in? Or and the sole discretion is with the COSHO. It is not with the employer. The employer's only option at that point is to refuse entry and require the compliance safety and health officer to go get an administrative warrant. So the authority of the COSHO to determine legally who can be on that job site is very troubling.
It seems extremely troubling, especially if there's proprietary information, then that could be gained by a third party walking through. Chief Bradley, this one size fits all. This is the consistent theme for OSHA, and this new rule that is impacting volunteer firefighters, apparently impacting more than 331,000 volunteer emergency responders. Can you explain why this proposed standard can apply? Like, what is it that's catching them into this new standard?
Well, thank you, Congressman. The inclusion of volunteers would come somewhere along the lines of compensation. Many receive benefits. Some volunteer chiefs are paid stipends, and OSHA considers significant compensation to establish an employee-employee relationship. The advent of the additional standards, one size fits all, NFPA standards are based on 0 to 100 in the fire service, so they include everything a fire department may be exposed to. So that one size fits all has worked in the fire service because NFPA allows an authority having jurisdiction. If you remove that authority having jurisdiction and the standard is adopted by reference by OSHA, then there is no local decision on what portions of the standard apply. So in that light, one size fits all just doesn't work for the fire service.
As we've heard this hearing, OSHA has this tendency to overreach. One question I have for you that came up recently in this hearing that we had from our former Secret Service Director, Cheatle, who resigned, thankfully, after our oversight committee hearing. But at one point, she had said that because of OSHA regulations, the sloped roof, that there's a safety factor that could be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody on a sloped roof. Chief Bradley, are you aware of any safety rules that would prohibit your firefighters from trying to save lives on a sloped roof?
Most firefighters receive training or education in terms of ladder use. The ice on the roof the fire service is typically equipped with what's known as roof ladders with hooks. There are conditions that would make roof access difficult, but I'm not aware of any condition other than the roof being weakened by fire that would prevent firefighters from getting on a roof.
Thank you. My time has expired.